Cowboys fans, hold on to your hats. The NFL rumor mill is on fire, and Dallas is at the center of it all. Word on the street is that Jerry Jones is cooking up a trade that could shake the foundation of the league. T. Higgins, the Bengals' explosive wide receiver, might be on his way to wearing the star. Is this the move that finally brings the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas? Or is it just another pipe dream? Stick around as we dive deep into this potential blockbuster trade that has everyone talking. The 2024 season could be a whole new ballgame for America's team. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some explosive news to discuss. We're diving headfirst into the hottest rumor swirling around the NFL right now, the possibility of star wide receiver T. Higgins potentially joining America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Buckle up, folks, because this could be the blockbuster trade that reshapes the entire landscape of the NFL. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss out on breaking Cowboys news like this. Now, let's break down this potential super trade that has the football world buzzing. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals have been engaged in serious talks about a trade involving T. Higgins. Yes, you heard that right, T. Higgins, the dynamic young receiver who's been lighting up the field alongside Ja'Marr Chase, could be on his way to wearing the star. But let's take a step back and look at how we got here. Higgins, a former second-round pick out of Clemson, has been nothing short of spectacular since entering the league in 2020. In just 3 seasons, he's racked up over 3,000 receiving yards and 19 touchdowns. He's been a key piece in the Bengals' offensive juggernaut, forming one of the most formidable receiver duos in the league with Chase. So why would the Bengals even consider trading such a talented player? Well, it all comes down to the almighty dollar, folks. Higgins is entering the final year of his rookie contract, and he's due for a massive payday. With Joe Burrow already signed to a market-setting deal and Chase likely to command top dollar in the near future, the Bengals are facing a cap crunch. They might not be able to keep all their offensive weapons, and Higgins could be the odd man out. Enter the Dallas Cowboys. We all know Jerry Jones isn't afraid to make a splash, and landing a player of Higgins' caliber would certainly qualify as a cannonball off the high dive. The Cowboys' offense, while potent, has been missing that true complement to CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup has struggled to regain his pre-injury form, and Brandon Cooks, while solid, isn't the game-changer they hoped for when they acquired him. Imagine, if you will, an offense featuring Dak Prescott throwing to CeeDee Lamb and T. Higgins, with Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. That's the stuff of defensive coordinators' nightmares, folks. It would instantly vault the Cowboys into the upper echelon of NFL offenses and make them a serious Super Bowl contender. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. A trade of this magnitude comes with its fair share of complications. First and foremost, there's the matter of compensation. What would the Cowboys have to give up to land a player of Higgins' caliber? We're likely talking about at least a first-round pick, possibly more. The Bengals aren't going to let go of a player like Higgins for pennies on the dollar. Then there's the issue of Higgins' contract. As I mentioned earlier, he's due for a big payday. The Cowboys would need to be prepared to open up the checkbook and likely make Higgins one of the highest-paid receivers in the league. With Dak Prescott's contract already eating up a significant portion of the cap and other key players like Micah Parsons due for extensions soon, fitting Higgins under the cap would require some serious financial gymnastics from the Cowboys front office. But if there's one thing we know about Jerry Jones, it's that he's not afraid to take risks when he sees an opportunity to improve his team. And make no mistake, adding T. Higgins would be a massive improvement. Let's take a moment to really appreciate what Higgins brings to the table. At 6'8" and 215 pounds, he's got the size to be a dominant red zone threat. His catch radius is enormous, giving Dak Prescott a huge target to aim for. But Higgins isn't just a big body. He's got the speed to stretch the field and the route running ability to create separation at all levels of the defense. In many ways, Higgins could be the perfect complement to CeeDee Lamb. While Lamb excels in the slot and after the catch, Higgins is a prototypical X-receiver who can win on the outside and go up and get those 5-0-5-0 balls. Having both of them on the field at the same time would force defenses into impossible choices. Double-team Lamb, and Higgins will eat you alive. Try to contain Higgins, and Lamb will carve you up underneath. Adding a player like Higgins could be the final piece that pushes the Cowboys over the top. It would give them the firepower to go toe-to-toe with high-powered offenses like the Chiefs, Bills, and yes, even the Eagles. In a division that's becoming increasingly competitive, with the Eagles looking like perennial contenders and the Giants and Commanders on the rise, the Cowboys need to do something bold to separate themselves from the pack. There's also the question of how adding Higgins would affect the rest of the team dynamics. Football is the ultimate team sport, and bringing in a high-profile player like Higgins could potentially ruffle some feathers in the locker room. How would CeeDee Lamb react to no longer being the undisputed WR1? Would other players be upset if Higgins gets a massive contract while they're still waiting for their paydays? These are all factors that the Cowboys front office will need to consider carefully before pulling the trigger on a trade of this magnitude. But in my opinion, the potential rewards far outweigh the risks. Just think about what this move would say to the rest of the league. It would be a clear signal that the Cowboys are all in on winning now. It would energize the fan base and put the rest of the NFC on notice. The Cowboys have been knocking on the door of contention for years now. Could T. Higgins be the key that finally unlocks their potential? Now, it's important to note that at this point, this is still just a rumor. Neither the Cowboys nor the Bengals have officially commented on the possibility of a trade. But where there's smoke, there's often fire, and there's certainly a lot of smoke surrounding this potential deal. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm doing everything in my power to make this happen. The window to win in the NFL is always shorter than you think, and the Cowboys have all the pieces in place to make a serious run. Adding a player of Higgins' caliber could be the move that finally brings the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas. But what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Would you be on board with a trade for T. Higgins? What do you think it would take to get the deal done? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, this is a fluid situation that could develop rapidly. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have those notifications turned on so you don't miss any updates on this potentially landscape-altering trade. That's all for now, folks. Stay tuned for more breaking Cowboys news. And remember, how about them Cowboys?